What's up, everybody? Today on the Work Wherever podcast, we're going to talk about grind culture and how it's a false narrative.
We spend so much of our lives inside, either in traffic at work or close eyed. How about we all agree that it's way overdue to take back our lives?
So thanks for hanging out. This is the Work Wherever podcast. I'm your host, Roy Edwards. This is a podcast where we talk about AI, automation, the ability to work wherever so you can live every day like it is Saturday. I am solo today, which means this is a Roy's Rant. We have 4 different flavors, if you will, of the podcast. Roy's Rants, that's me by myself. We have the Internet Hotspot. That's me and Sydney or me and Haley, where we talk about trending news articles. We have Homegrown with Haley. That's where Haley and we talk about homeschooling. Those seem to be everybody's favorite. We'll be doing another one of those here shortly. That's where we talk about homeschooling. We talk about the life that Work Wherever has been able to provide us. And then we have like a full length or an interview, which that's where I have one of my friends come on and we talk about things that are going around in the industry. We talk about their business. We talk about how they work wherever. It's more probably along the lines of the podcast that you're used to listening to. So today's Roy's Rant. That means it's a quick hitter. And I wanted to address grind culture. So much, especially this time of the year, where so many people they're looking into the new year and they're like, we're going to grind so much. We're going to hustle. We're going to, make it happen. And about now, people start to wean off. So January went through, they hit January with a full head of steam. They're like, I'm going to make everything happen. Everything's going to happen in 31 days and I'm going to get pushed through. About now, I'm in the first week in February right now, is when people start to wean off that idea, that ideology, that they can just grind their way to success. Or at least they'll give up on their resolutions, their goals for the year. We see that so often. So I wanted to offer an alternative perspective, is that grind culture, while success and the ability to push to success and not give up through something is extremely important, it's not a badge of honor. So that idea behind grind culture is actually detrimental to the family. It's actually detrimental to your health, and it's not the best way to go forward. So let me explain. So first, let's talk about the dark side of grind culture. And so grind culture, and so for those of you who are wondering, like, what are you talking about when you mean grind culture? I mean all of the burnout, all of the I'm going to hustle. Let's sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. This type of mindset, it's not sustainable. You're susceptible to burnout. You're susceptible to decreased production. You're going to run in ebbs and flows. It's impossible to stay at 110% all the time. It's just not physically possible as humans. And so that's why I believe that this usher in of AI, where members are talking about how, well, you can utilize AI to get a lot of the things done, that is propping up grind culture, which is actually detrimental, because if you are actually constantly in fast forward and you're using AI to plug in the gaps to think for you, then you're not actually checking the AI, and you actually have a machine running your business, not you running a business with the machine. See what I'm saying? You see, AI works for us. We don't work for AI or even in parallel with AI. It works for us as a tool. So grind culture is become this glorified thing on the internet, when really it is extremely detrimental, and it has severe consequences for both you, your health, as well as your family and your loved ones and the people around you. And I know what you might be thinking is, you're saying, well, Roy, I need to be successful so that I can provide for my children, so that I can provide for my family, so that we can have a better life. That's true, but at what cost? You see, we think about cost from a business perspective, where we're saying, I know how much my cost and my overhead is because of my hourly rates and my cost of materials and cost of goods, services, and all that stuff. But have you thought about the cost when it comes from a family perspective as to if your hourly rate is X and you're not able to sit down with your family in Y, what is that costing you? And so that's where grind culture is extremely detrimental to your family environment and can actually cause ripple effects far greater than just not being able to make payroll or not being able to pay a bill or not be able to go on vacation or some of these other things. So if you're stuck in grind culture, you have to think about the big picture, because in grind culture, we talk so much about legacy, or we say legacy, that's our ultimate legacy, is what I want to leave for my children. Well, your children actually are your ultimate legacy. They are the fruit. So they say that, you'll know a Christian or you'll know somebody by the fruit of their tree. Your fruit are your children. So now if you don't have children, then maybe your business or something along that is what you pass along. And maybe then you're passing it along to nieces and nephews or something along that line. But don't get confused for what you're leaving as the important thing, but rather who you're leaving these things to. That's important. Because you see, the ultimate flex is family time. The ultimate flex is not how much time you spend on your business, but how much time you're able to spend with your family. And in implementing systems and artificial intelligence and automation and all the things that we talk about on this podcast, they should enable you to be at the dinner table. You see, there's a statistic that I found that is super alarming. The statistic states that only 30% of American families reported having both parents at the dinner table, which is crazy to me. I grew up in a family environment where my dad and my mom were always at the dinner table. Same with my brothers. We were always together, eating dinner together. It was a sit-down meal. We prayed before the meal. We had conversations. Family bonds were made. To think that only a third of families, less than a third of families, actually get to experience that is troubling to me, because that, to me, is the nucleus of the family. But it goes on to say that only 9% of American families reported to eating dinner together every night. So of the 30% that have both families, an even lower number of 9% are actually even doing it. So how much quality time are we actually getting with our families? If our kids are at school 8 hours a day and mom and dad are at work longer than that, and we never actually have a moment of time to sit down together, even to decompress the day that was, to have a family bonding time for as little as 30 minutes, how much time are we actually spending as a core nucleus family on a daily basis? How much bonding can we actually have together? How many conversations of worth? How much impact are we really having on our true legacy, our family and children, that we are sacrificing that time on a false legacy of a business or work? So in conclusion, and the way that I'll wrap this up, is to say that you need to find a healthy balance. Now I know what you're saying. Roy, I need to work. I need to pay the bills. I need to give my kids this opportunity that they can have things that I never did. And I totally get that. I obviously am a business owner and an entrepreneur, and I've been through that grind culture. I worked late nights. I worked weekends. I worked overtime. I constantly had my phone on me working. But I involve my family in different ways. I'm happy to say that I've never missed a baseball game, or it's turned into lacrosse at this point. And I've been able to dedicate areas of my time for volunteer work in the community. I've been able to coach lacrosse teams. I've been able to serve as president of different boards, like the swim team and things like that. And that's only possible because of the systems that I've put in place in my business that allow me to take a step back, knowing that the work is always going to be there. It doesn't matter how much you grind on a daily basis and how late into the night that you work. When you wake up, there's always going to be something to do. So I'm not saying completely step away. I'm not saying give up on your dream of entrepreneurship. Instead, I'm saying go about it with this in mind. How much time do you want to spend with your kids and your family? Are there goals externally with your family that you wish to meet to bring the core nucleus of actual legacy together? Focus on that with the end in mind, and not just focus on how much paperwork you have to get done by the end of the day. Because time with your family is the ultimate flex. And that 30% of families who actually get both parents together needs to increase. And that 9% of families who are actually even eating dinner together on a daily basis definitely needs to increase. You could tie back multiple problems within our country right now to those two statistics. And if we're going to save the American family, if we're going to save the American freedoms, if we're going to save the American dream, it starts at the dinner table. And how can it start at the dinner table if you're not actually there? Thanks for hanging out, guys. Hopefully you got a lot of this podcast. Like and subscribe, hit any comments, any questions that you might have of other topics you want me to discuss. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time, see ya. Hey there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for all the latest videos from Capital Presence.